Today to say few דברי תורה לעילוי נשמת שלמה בן יוסף חיים ולהבדיל לרפואת ברוך אדם מרדכי בן שרה ולהצלחת עמיחי ישראל בן סיגלית הילה. בעזרת השם, ז'קלין בן לדיסיה לעילוי נשמה, also this week דאזכרה, תהא נשמתם צרורה בצרור החיים, אמן כן יהי רצון. When you are coming to a Azkara, it's to remind ourselves what is the life. Because nobody is staying here forever. Already for a few years, a guy that his name is Brian Johnson. You heard about this guy? Brian Johnson is fighting the Zikna. You know what is Zikna? To become old. It's called aged. He's fighting with that. What I mean he's fighting? He's a very rich guy. I don't know if he's a billionaire or just a multi-millionaire. This guy is always checking his body and his organs, not stop, and he's eating exactly what the body needs. And everything is Rabotai Karim recorded. You can check. You will see all his life. He wants to fight the aged, the Zikna. Okay? And you know what they figured out, what they found a few days ago?
No, what?
That he has a disease, lo alechem, that autoimmune disease, that his stomach is attacking himself and is eating himself.
Oh, no.
And he doesn't have a cure for that.
No.
And that it's after he was checked and checkups non-stop every day for all the organs and to know exactly what's going on with each part of the body for years. And they couldn't discover that. They didn't discover it. And now he's dealing with a disease that he doesn't have any way how to cure that disease. You believe that?
Almost unbelievable.
Autoimmune disease that attacking his body. What does that mean? That means you can try what you want. You can eat the most healthiest food and to do jogging every day and to go to the gym 3 times a day like Shacharit, Mincha and Arvit, and to drink just, healthy liquid and to eat only clean and healthy food and not to smoke and not to drink. But if Hashem wants, that's it. Autoimmune system, autoimmune disease that attacking his own system after all what he did and all what he tried. He's a young man. He's not an old man. And he wanted to fight the age and the zikna. We are coming to a Azkara to remind ourselves. This life, they're very short. When Rav Pinchas Scheinberg, he made 100 years old birthday. He lives more than 100 years old. He was American. He became a great Rosh Yeshiva. Thousands of students. One of his students is our Zechariah. You know Zechariah? Zechariah Levi, Zach. He's one of his students. He learned in his yeshiva, Yeshiva Torah Or in Yerushalayim. He used to come here a lot. Rav Pinchas Scheinberg. He was a Malach Hashem, Tzaddik, holy man. When they celebrate 100 years old birthday, a lot of his students came. And I believe so that in that event, they had some people that it was 80 years old, some people 70 years old. And he looked at everyone before he started and he told them, Tayere Kinderlech, my sweetheart kids, I want to tell you, 100 years is not a lot. It's passing very fast. That's what he said. That's what he said when he was celebrating his 100 years old birthday. And that's why you are coming to a Azkara. We are coming to a Azkara to remind ourselves that we have a mission in this world that we have to accomplish. You have a mission that we have to fulfill. And now Neshama came to this world, Rabotai Ekarim, to do something לכבוד Hashem Yitbarach. We came to this world, רבותיי היקרים, to do נחת to ourselves and to do נחת to Hashem יתברך. And first of all, רבותיי היקרים, and foremost, is to remember that our neshama has to feel good and fulfill our job. And like we mentioned a few times, I remember in Ashdod, when I used to come to a Askarot, we had a rabbi, they called that the rabbi of the Askarot. You know, we have also here in America, rabbis, especially in the Bukharan community, do you have this rabbi that they coming to the Askarot? It's a job. Askara rabbi. Yoshovo rabbi. This rabbi, he was the Yoshovo rabbi. And he used to come to the all Askarot. And every Askara that he used to come, he held the cup before he started the speech. And he used to say, I'm now saying beracha for my Ilui Neshama. Everyone is looking at the rabbi, you still alive. You came for the Ilui Neshama of Shlomo ben Yosef Chaim. He says, but die, obviously. But when you are doing a good action, when you are alive, first of all and foremost, who is elevating first himself? Yourself. You elevate yourself. You elevate your neshama. Before you are elevating somebody else, it's your neshama that's getting elevated by doing a mitzvah. And when you are coming to the Askara, the main point of the Askara, it's to remember through the Niftar what is life and what you are doing in this world, and to take a chizuk upon ourselves. And this chizuk that we got, b'zchut, in the behalf of the Niftar, because the Niftar caused us to get the chizuk, that will be the credit for the Niftar. That is the Ilui Neshama. To come and to eat nice sushi and cookies or rogalach and some fruit, it's nice, but what the Niftar has to do with that? He's not here to enjoy this food, Rabotai Ekarim. But the Niftar will get a benefit if we'll take something upon ourselves. B'zchut we come today to hear, to listen to few divrei Torah. And if we will, Rabotai Ekarim, apply it in our life, now the Niftar is a zechut. Now the Niftar is a merit. Now the Niftar, it will get elevated in the Gan Eden HaElyon. And as we know, in the day of the Askara, they're opening the books to see what the family did for the Niftar. And based on that, they will give to the Niftar a new level in Gan Eden. Yeah. Some Niftarim, Baruch Hashem, they have a zechut. People, they coming, they saying Kaddish for them, they saying Berachot for them, they saying Divrei Torah, they getting an upgrade. But some Miskenim, they don't have all that. Rabotai Ekarim. But in this week parasha, we find a man that he overcome the agent, the Zikna. Not only that he overcome the Zikna, he's still alive till today. This guy is at least 3,300 years old. At least. It's Pinchas. Pinchas hu Eliyahu. Pinchas is still alive. Pinchas never died. And the question is, how he made it? How he overcome the Yetzer Hara, the Satan, the Malach HaMavet? How he's still alive, and what he did that Hashem gave him that zechut, that merit, that he's still alive. Says Rabotenu, Adam HaRishon brought the death to the world after he ate from Etz Hadat, when his wife, beloved wife, shared with him the fruits of Etz Hadat, as Rashi is explaining, because she didn't want to die by herself. She loved him till the death. She said, if I'm dying, he will die with me. Beseder. That's what happened. She feed him, and he also got a punishment that he has to die. What was the reason that he has to die? Because Hashem Yitbarach, when he created a human being, he created him with two parts. As we know, who we are. Who you are. The person that you see in the mirror when you're looking in the mirror, that is just the cover. That is just the cloth. It's not yourself. Who we are is the neshama. Like when you wear a nice jacket and you're looking yourself in the mirror, you say, wow, today I look very good. And you know what I mean. It's not you, it's your jacket. When you will take the jacket off, that's it. It's not you. It's a cover. And now I know that it's not you. You know, when you're wearing the jacket and I'm touching your body through the jacket, you feel it or not? Maybe it's the jacket that is feeling. Maybe it's the jacket. How I know that it's not the jacket? Here, I'm touching, I'm feeling it. Who says not the jacket feeling it? What is the test? Very simple. Take off the jacket, put it in the hanger, and now try to be that it will feel something? No. Take the neshama out from the body and be the body the much you want, what you will feel? Nothing. Means the body is just a cover. The body is just a cloth. Like you have a clothing that you are wearing, you have also a cloth to the body. And the cloth to the body is the cloth for the neshama is the body. Guf. Now, Rabotai Ekari, when Hashem Yitbarach create the world and He created a human being, He created a neshama. And He gave to the neshama tools. You know, a neshama cannot drink wine for kiddush. The neshama cannot wear tzitzit. The neshama cannot keep Shabbat. What Hashem gave to the neshama in order that the neshama will fulfill all that mitzvot? The body. Means the body basically is a servant for the neshama. That is the whole mission of the body. Why you have a body, Atzadik? To serve our neshama. Our neshama want to do a mitzvah, want to keep Shabbat. Our neshama want to wear tefillin, but you cannot wear tefillin with the neshama only. You need a body to wear the tefillin, and now the neshama is getting a credit. The neshama getting a benefit from it. That is the way. Means the body of the first human being ever in the world, Adam HaRishon, was made to serve the neshama, the body. And that's what Hashem Yitbarach told the neshama. He told Adam HaRishon, listen, you have rules, you have mitzvot, and you have averot. Then the mitzvah of Adam HaRishon was, you can eat from all the fruits of Gan Eden. All the fruits in paradise, they're eatable. You can eat them. That is the mitzvah. And he had one positive mitzvah, this one, and he has one negative mitzvah. What was the negative mitzvah? Don't eat from Etz Hadat. Now, Rabotai Karim, when Adam HaRishon ate from Etz Hadat, what he did basically, instead that the body will serve the neshama, means the neshama is the main. The neshama is on the, merkaz, in the center. The neshama is in the focus. And the body is just serving the neshama. What happened now? Everything switched. Instead, the body to serve the neshama, the body forced the neshama to serve him. Because also without neshama, the body cannot do a avera. We know that. After a person died, the body can do a avera? No. One of the reasons why a person has to get Tchiyat HaMetim, because says the Gemara, after a person will pass away, and Hashem will come to judge the neshama, he will say, neshama, my dear neshama, why you didn't follow me? Why you didn't follow my rules? What the neshama will say? Hashem is not me. Look at me now. When the body is not involved, I'm flying as a bird. Nobody is touching me. I'm not doing anything wrong. It's the body, it's not me. Okay. Hashem will go to the body, will tell the body, Habibi, what you did? He says, I did? Look at me without the neshama. I'm as a piece of, in underground. I cannot move even. I cannot feel. I cannot see. I cannot hear. I did. It's not me. It's the neshama. I'm without neshama. I'm zero. Know what Hashem Yitbarach will do now? The body is saying it's not him because without neshama he cannot function. The neshama says it's not me because without the body I cannot do nothing. Now Hashem Yitbarach has to judge both of them. Says the Midrash in the Gemara in Masechet Sanhedrin Mashal, the parable is to the king that he has a beautiful garden, orchard, with special fruit, fruit trees, and special, nice stuff. And he wanted to keep it, to watch it, But he says, everyone that I will bring to my orchard, to my beautiful garden, they will enjoy from it. They will eat from it. He says, I have a very good solution. He brought 2 guards. One, Lo Alechem, couldn't walk. He had a problem. He was handicapped. He couldn't walk. He didn't have his legs. But he could see. And the other guard, he could walk, but he couldn't see. He was blind. He says, now I will put these 2 guys, and the guy that cannot move, he will just guide the other guy that can move but cannot see. If somebody will approach, he will tell him, run, left, right. He will tell him what to do. And never, can steal, because this guy cannot move, this guy cannot see. One day, the blind guy is telling the other guy, tell me what we are watching here, what we are, guarding. He says, you cannot believe what's going on here. It's a paradise. All types of fruits, trees. It's amazing. He said, why are you not giving me something to eat? I cannot move, I'm sorry. And why are you not bringing something? He said, I cannot see. They say, I have a very easy solution. Hold me in your shoulders, take me, and together we'll go to pick some fruits, we'll eat together and we'll be okay. Rabotai, that's what they did. They went, they enjoyed a very nice dinner. Baruch Hashem, for all haba miyado, all what he could eat. When the king came and he saw what happened, he says, who eat the fruits? Who steal the fruits? The blind guy say, my majesty, I cannot see. You think that I can take it? You think that I can steal it? He went to the other guy, told him, who took the fruit? He said, my majesty, I cannot walk. It's not me. But the king understood exactly what happened. What he did, he put back the handicap on the shoulders of the other guy and he beat both of them together. He says, you steal together, we will pay together. Says Chazal, that's why you have Tchiyat HaMetim. The neshama says, it's not me. The body says, it's not me. So that's not a problem. He will bring back the neshama to the body and both of them, they will pay for what they did. But again, basically, neshama without body cannot do nothing. Body without neshama is not functioning. It's both of them, they cannot function. Both of them, they cannot do nothing. But what is Rabotai Karim, the mission? The body has to serve the neshama. The body is just a servant, a shaliach for the neshama. Now, Rabotai Karim, Adam HaRishon, he messed up. Instead to let the body to serve the neshama, he forced the neshama to join the body to do something against Hashem Yitbarach. When he went to eat from the fruit of Etz Hadat, means he used the body used the neshama, because the body without neshama, he cannot move. The body moved and he used the neshama to do something against Hashem Yitbarach. Says Hashem Yitbarach, oh, you use the body against me. This body cannot exist forever, cannot stay here forever, because the body was used in a wrong way. The body, instead to be the shaliach of the neshama, the body took the neshama with him as a capture to against Hashem Yitbarach. Rabotai Karim, but we have one guy in the history that he did the opposite. Pinchas, when he went to kill Zimri ben Salu and Kozbi Batsur, says the Gemara in Masechet Sanhedrin, he went with the intention that he's going to die. That was his intention. Obviously, he's killing the president of the tribe of Shimon. You think that this guy, they will stay quiet? This guy, they're super, strong, tough people. When he was 12 years old, they destroyed full city of 24,000 people. 12 years old. Why do you think that now they will stay quiet? They sing, the president, stab on top of the spear, like the Gemara says. When he came, he couldn't say why he came, because never they will let him to come into their tent. He wanted to come into the tent and to kill them together during the act, because if they be separated and they're not doing the Averah, he's not allowed to touch them. The only way is if he will catch them in the middle of the Averah. And he find them in the middle of the Averah and he stop them together, he put them on the spear, and he came outside with both of them.
So heavy though.
The Gemara says 12 miracles happened to him in that moment. First, when he came inside to the tent, why Zibri ben Salu didn't stop, he didn't kill him? He had the right to kill him because he's Rodef. He came to kill him, he has the right to kill Pinchas. Second, when he stopped them together and he put them on the spirit, you know, it's not easy to all two people together. And they stay connected. They didn't get separated because he wanted to show everyone why he killed them. Says the Gemara, not only this, they wasn't bleeding. They wasn't bleeding. He's a Kohen. He didn't to get dirty. And they didn't die also. Because a Kohen that killed a person even by mistake is not allowed to be Kohen. He's not allowed to serve Hashem, to do the service in the Beit HaMikdash. For example, Lo Alechem, a Kohen that he had an accident car and he killed somebody by mistake, he's not allowed to say Birkat Kohanim anymore. That is the halacha. If he will kill them, and his intention was, I'm going to kill them, means he went in attention that he's going to lose his position. He's going to lose of being a Kohen. Even if in that point he wasn't a Kohen, but even if you have some chance, now he's losing the chance. And says forever, that's it. Not for him, not for his children, but for him. Says the Gemara, when he wanted to come out from the tent, the post door got high. Why? Because Hashem didn't want that he will bow down, because if that, he will do that, they will fall from the spear. Says the Gemara, he was walking with them in the whole camp of Israel. He walked with them in the whole camp.
They ended up dying.
And they didn't say a word. And they was quiet, and they didn't die. Says the Gemara, when he finished the tour, he went next to the Aron HaBrit, and he threw them on the floor, and he says to Hashem, what, for these two guys you want to kill 24,000 people from the Jewish nation, because a lot of people died, 24,000 died in the Magefa. He says, Hashem, for these two guys you want to kill all Am Israel? What is that? And the Magefa stopped.
And they lived?
No, they died. After that they died.
Ah, you killed two people. You said you didn't kill them. You killed them.
At the end they died. And he was ready to lose the Kehuna. He was ready to lose the Kehuna. And not only that he was ready to lose the Kehuna, he was ready to sacrifice his life for Hashem. Why? Because imagine that you're coming out with these two guys on the spear, and all the Shevet Shimon, they will see you killing your president. What do you think? They will stay quiet? They will kill him right away on the spot.
They didn't do anything?
Says Rabbi, they couldn't. Hashem stopped them. They wanted. Says Rabbotenu, they wanted. They wanted to kill Pinchas, but Hashem stopped them.
Wow.
Hashem didn't let them to do nothing to Pinchas.
It's like killing the chief rabbi of the Moroccan community. You know? They're gonna kill you.
Okay? No, Alen, we'll see what happened last week with Rabbi Amos Guetta. He's the chief rabbi of the Tripoli community. They're more aggressive, believe me. כזרע מן השמיים. But למעשה, Pinchas, he show everyone that I'm ready to give my body for my neshama. Usually people, they're doing everything to keep their body. And even if they have to pass on something that bothers the neshama, they will do it just to keep the body. But Pinchas, he was the opposite person. He was ready to give his body in order to keep his neshama. He says, my neshama now is screaming. You see Chilul Hashem. You see these two guys doing a Chilul Hashem. They're decreasing the name of Hashem Yitbarach. Decreasing the name of Hashem. Disgracing the name of Hashem. What do you have to do now? You have to fight. You have to do Kiddush Hashem. You cannot see this disgrace and to stay quiet. And he went, even though that he was knowing in his mind he's going to die, he's going to sacrifice his life for Hashem. Why? For his neshama. Says Hashem Yitbarach, that is the person that I created in the beginning of the world. I made a man, a body to serve the neshama, and not the opposite. But Adam HaRishon, he did the opposite. Because he did the opposite, the body of Adam HaRishon gets punished and the body has to die. But now you have a guy that is ready to sacrifice his body for what? For the neshama. this body can stay alive forever. Because that is the tikkun of Adam HaRishon.
Avram Avinu did that. He went into a fire.
Also.
Why didn't he stay alive?
Because it was not in the same way. It's not the same Mesirut Nefesh to save Am Israel.
Oh.
It's not with the same, way of doing something that you're not obligated to do. Avraham Avinu had to jump to the fire because you cannot, deny the existence of Hashem. You cannot have a shalom beli min avodah zarah. But Pinchas, he didn't have the obligation to do what he did. It's not a halacha that you're obligated to do it. The halacha is Kanaim pogim bo. Why? Because when Moshe Rabbeinu, he didn't know what to do, and Pinchas, he came and he told him, but you have to be zealot. You have to be zealot. You have to have zealot to kill him. Says Moshe, because you remind me the halacha, you have to do it. What does that mean? If the halacha is that you have to do it, what does that mean that Moshe Rabbeinu is telling Pinchas, you have to do it? If it's a mitzvah on everyone, Moshe Rabbeinu had to go and to do it. You see that it's not a mitzvah on everyone. It's not like you have to jump to the fire not to do avodah zarah. It's something that you can choose to do if you want, if you're in that level of zealot. Zealot. Kanaut. And Pinchas showed that even if I'm not obligated, but I know what Hashem wants, and I know what it's right, and I will do it, even if I'm giving my life, I'm doing it for Hashem Yitbarach. Says Hashem, amazing. You show that your body is just a servant for the neshama. When the body is just a servant for the neshama, means the body is tafel, is not ikar. And if the body is tafel for the neshama, and the neshama is netzach, the neshama is eternity, the neshama stay forever, the body will be part also. Because the body is tafel, the body is not taking place, the body is just a servant, the body is just a cloth, the body is just a cover for the neshama. This body will stay forever. Means when we are coming to a Askara, that it's to remind ourselves that sometimes we're forgetting that the body is just the servant. And when we forget that the body is just a servant, we're doing a lot of things for the body, even though that we're sacrificing on the way the neshama. Instead of the neshama has to be in the center and the body has to be the servant, we're doing the opposite. And like we mentioned, I will tell you this story, we'll finish with that, Rabotai. We have a lot what to say, but I have a meeting, I'm sorry. Rabotai, Karim, I remember in Ashdod, I had a rabbi in my shul that his name was Rabbi Gottlieb, Chassid Egur, Ger Chosid. And he was an old Rebbe, old Chassid. And he says once when he came to a Askara that one of the old people that he knew it was a Holocaust survivor, that lo alechem, he wasn't 100% normal. Everywhere that he used to go, he used to check under shit, underneath, under the tables, everywhere, the chairs, everywhere he was checking. And everyone knows, misken, what you can do. He passed the Holocaust, who knows what they did to him, misken, what he suffered there. But למעשה, he had very hard time. And Rabotai Karim, when he passed away, and all, his friend from the Holocaust came to comfort the family, they asked one of his friends, did you know what happened to that guy? Why he lost his mind? Why misken? He was suffering so much. He told them, I will tell you. The German Ymach Shemam, before the end of the Holocaust, when they realized that it's done, they start to take the Jewish people to a death journey. The death journeys? They used to just tell them to run days for no reason. No, purpose. Stop, just to run, to torture them. No destination. One of that people in that journey was this guy. And he says, before they start the journey, they told them, because it's a long journey, you cannot take a lot of stuff, only 2 bags. Everyone has the permission to take 2 bags with him and to start to run. He had a baby, newborn baby, that was born in the Holocaust, in the wartime. And he put him in the bag, and he took in the other bag, some stuff for the baby, Today we have diapers and all other stuff that we need. I don't know what he had. He had some stuff for the baby. And he started to run. He was running. After a few hours, they stopped them. Stop! Now you have to rest a little. But it was so reshaim. I heard a story, terrible story. After maybe 10 or 15 hours that he was just running without getting even a drop of water, and a lot of them just died on the way. They was crossing a river. And the general, Imach Shemo, he told them, now you're crossing the river, and nobody is allowed to drink even a drop from the water. Everyone that you will drink, I will shoot him on the spot. And he went on the top, and he 15 hours without drinking. Who can control himself? And they was drinking, and he shoot all of them. Only one guy survived. Reshaim Arurim, what they did to Am Yisrael. Rabotai Ekarim, and these guys survived. When they stopped, they told them, now you have to continue. After a few minutes that they had a break, they told them, now you have to continue to run. But because you're very tired, you're exhausted, because you're already running for 15 hours, now you had a little break of 30 minutes or 1 hour, and you have to continue to run. You don't have any more the same energy. You cannot take the 2 bags. You have to give in one of the bags. To give up about one of the bags. What he will give up? But the diapers, he will give up, the formula, he will give up the tchotchkes. But the baby, he will give up he threw one bag and he started to run. After another few hours, they told him, stop, now you're staying here for the night. You can rest a little, drink, eat something. He opened the bag to see what's going on with his baby, and he realized that he made a mistake. He threw the baby. From that second, he lost his mind. He was looking for his baby everywhere until he passed away, miskin. That was the story of that guy. And the rabbi was talking in the Askara, and he says the following. Every person, when he came to this world, is in a big journey. He's running. Everyone is running, especially in New York. People running. I told you one guy that is learning with us in the morning, he says he went to Vienna. He had a wedding. And he was walking to the shul on Shabbat, and all the guys, they telling him, why are you running? He said, I'm not running, I'm walking. They told him, no, you're running. He says, I realized everyone is walking so slowly. We're running. He says, in New York, people, they're running everywhere. Go to Manhattan, you see people running. They're not walking. It's mahala here, running. טוב, למעשה, that is the fact. People running. The life is a big marathon. Big marathon. But when Hashem sent the neshama to this world, and he told us, now you're starting the marathon. Now you start the marathon. He gave us 2 bags. In one bag, he gave us the baby. The baby is the neshama. Our baby is the neshama. In the second bag, he gave us tchotchkes. You know what is that? Diapers. Some wipes, some materna, means parnasa, house, clothing. And Hashem is telling us, my dears, you're going to run. You will have a long journey. Will be exhausted. And if one day you have to give up about one of the bags, don't give up the bag of the baby. Because in the end of the journey, you have to open the bag to see what you brought. If you give up the baby, it will be very sad. Rabbi Yaakov Abu Chatzira, he says on the pasuk, when Reuven came back to the pit, when they put Yosef at Tzaddik and he saw that Reuven is not there, says Reuven saw that Yosef is not there. What Reuven says? Vayashov Reuven el abor, vayar ki en hayeled babor. Vayizak, he was crying and he says, hayeled enenu, va'ani ana ani ba. Rabbi Yaakov Abu Chatzira is explaining this pasuk, that this pasuk is referring to the kever. The pit is the kever. Vayavo Reuven. Who is Reuven? Reuven is the Bechor of Yaakov. Beni Bechori Israel. Am Israel is considered the Bechor. Is the Reuven is the firstborn. And when the Reuven, the Yehudi, is coming to the bor, and he's seeing that Hayeled Enenu, the Neshama is not there. He spent all his life to run after diapers, after wipes, after nonsense. What happened to you? All your life you gave for that shtuyot. Where is the Torah? Where is the learning? Where is the mitzvot? Where is the maasim tovim? Okay, you have to take care about the diapers also, but it's not the main. How the majority of your life was invest for that gashmiyut. At the end of the day, a person, he will reach the bore, he will reach the pit, he will reach the kever, the grave, and then he will open the bag, and what he will see in the bag? Did he will find a neshama, a little baby, or he will find diapers, materna, titulim, wipes, formula? What he will find in the bag? Says the rabbi, I remember that I was young, and that make a big remark on me till today. I remember very well the story. He was crying because it was the passing of a young man, or alechem. And he told everyone in that askara, Rabbi Gottlieb Sheyeh Bari, I hope that he's still alive. He told everyone, please guys, you have 2 bags. Don't give up the baby, never. If you will have a chance in your life, and you will stand in a decision, you will stand in front of a decision what to give up, never through the baby. Never give up about the neshama, never. The neshama has to be always the center. The neshama has to be always in the focus. And remember, the body is just the servant. Learn from Pinchas. Pinchas teach us. My neshama is the main. My body has to serve the neshama. And if the question who will get sacrificed for who, it's not a question, it's my body for my neshama. But Rabotai Karim, the truth is that you see around the whole world, people, they sacrificing all the neshamot for their body. So many hours of work, so many nonsense in their life. For what? Everything costs time. Chafetz Chaim Alav Hashalom used to say, in America they saying time is money, I'm saying time is life. And every moment that you're giving for something that is not so important and is not the matter of the life means you're giving your life. Rav Noach Weinberg used to say, you have people that they commit suicide, but they're still alive. How can be? Every time that you have that you wasting for no reason, it's suicide. You're killing the time. What is life? Life, it's a lot pieces of time. And if you are not using your life in the proper way, if you're not using the time that you got from Hashem Yitbarach in the proper way, it means you are killing these days. You are killing this moment. You are killing these minutes and these hours. And what is the difference? If a person kill all his life or he kill part of his life? The most precious thing ever that a person has in his life, you know what is it? Life. And that's why we have to take advantage from our life. More Torah, more mitzvot, more maasim tovim, to add extra good actions. We came to a Azkara to remember that, Rabotai. That the most important is the life. And that you have to remember that the body is just a servant. When he finishes his job, that's it. But the neshama stay forever. And if that is the case, you have always to make sure that our neshama is getting enough food, nutrition. What is the nutrition of the neshama? Torah, mitzvot, maasim tovim, midot tovot, avodat Hashem. That is the nutrition of the neshama. And we're so busy to feed our body, but we forget that our neshama is starving, is screaming, give me something. I'm also starving. I want to get something. And that's why we are coming to Azkara. Azkara in Hebrew is lizacher, to remember. Is a reminder. Azkara is a reminder. But not to remember the Niftar only. That obviously. It's a reminder for ourselves that we're still alive. And we can take advantage from our life. And we can do big things in our life. And every second has to be used. Every second has to be taken advantage from. And if Be'erat Hashem we take this chizuk upon ourselves, that will be the real Ilui Neshama for Shlomo ben Yosef Chaim and Jacqueline bat Ledisia, תהא נשמתם צרורה בצרור החיים. רבי חנניה בן הקשה אומר, הצעה הקדוש ברוך הוא זגות ישראל ובא להם תורה ומצוות שנאמר, וחפץ למען צדקו יגדיל תורה וידיר.